Everybody's special guests, Lawrence Kalikhman and Eric Rayz, two great business attorneys in Philadelphia, showing us how to protect our small and mid-sized businesses with an ever-changing climate to Corona-19. We're lucky to have them on the show. Let's keep building our businesses. Let's go, everybody. Let's effing go.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having us on, Lance. It's Lawrence Kalikhman from Kalikhman and Rayz.
Can you please tell us a little about your law firm? I know a ton about your law firm. You've been my business attorney for over 6-7 years. You helped the growth of One SEO and multiple other businesses of mine, Lawrence. Can you please tell everybody what you and Eric do on a daily basis?
Sure. We're a boutique civil litigation law firm that helps small businesses. We do business counseling. We do lease agreements. We open up corporations. We advise business owners on many different decisions they have to make throughout the course of their business.
Eric, I'm going to ask you the first question. This is the question I've been getting from all my clients. I've been inundated. I mean, Lawrence, you saw me work when we talked yesterday. I've been working, my team's been working around the clock, really trying to calm people down. The uncertainty is very scary to people, right, for business people. And they're asking me, what are judges and jurors going to do if they wind up litigating this? Will we see unprecedented rulings and overturning old law for the new things of this virus? You know, I'm talking about tenants fighting with their landlords, people fighting with maybe billboard companies, people fighting with other past due bills that they just can't pay. I mean, what do you say to that, Eric? Do you think we're going to see that, or is it going to be business as usual when this is done? Everybody forgets about Corona-19.
I don't think that you can say that this is business as usual. Clearly, there's going to be an unprecedented change. Clearly, that what's going on in the country today and what's been going on for the past couple of weeks will be reflected in how judges and juries decide things, how the analysis behind the decisions. Things are going to change. I mean, at the end of the day, when you're going in front of a jury, when you're trying a case, you have a jury of your peers. And a jury of your peers means exactly that. These are people that have similar experiences to yours, that have went through the same thing, that they've been quarantined, they've been sitting with their kids for a week or so. So to say that those things will not be reflected in the decisions that they reach is foolish. Of course, things will change. It has to change, and it will change.
Lawrence, what would you say to people right now? Because people, I mean, you represented me quite a few times where I had no choice but to litigate, sue people because they just wouldn't stop doing what I consider to be bad things or the right things. At this point in time, I mean, what would you say to people? Do you litigate? Do you try and make this work ahead of time? I mean, what would you say?
I think people would need to stay away from litigation. I would try and talk my clients out of it. In fact, I think everybody needs to compromise because we're all in the same boat. We're fighting this as one country. We all have the same problems. Litigation is just going to be a waste of money, and it's going to be backlogged going years, going out farther. I think everybody needs to give a little. The landlords and the tenants need to work things out. The businesses and their clients need to work things out with the vendors. Everybody needs to sit down at the table and compromise because we're all in the same boat. That's the only way we get through this. And I would be advising my clients away from litigation and more towards problem solving.
You said something interesting. The courts are going to be backlogged at a time like this. Is that because, can you tell the people why the court, do you think people are just going to start pounding litigation? Is that what you guys are seeing in your law firm? What are you seeing in your law firm right now?
That would typically what would occur after an event like this, even though this is unprecedented. But because so many agreements have been broken, parties were canceled, events didn't happen, restaurants didn't order food from their suppliers. Now, nobody knows what to do, and it's going to be a blame game of pointing fingers. The problem that we have is that blame game is not going to end anywhere good. We need to sit down and work with one another to resolve these problems. That's the way to get this thing going.
Eric, would you say to the people, if you litigate coming out of this, just flip a coin, that's what side you're going to come on? I mean, what would you say?
Litigation is always a gamble. When you file a lawsuit, there's always a possibility that you're going to lose, regardless of how great you think your case is. And before you file suit, you better be sure that you think that you're going to win that gamble. In today's environment, it changes things because you don't know if you're going to win. Even if you have the greatest of cases, you don't know how the jury is going to decide. Because at the end of the day, if you're going to be sued, if you represent a wholesaler who sells products to a restaurant and you're suing that restaurant, the likelihood that you're going to recover, given today's economy and given that all the restaurants have been closed, is small. So you need to consider what is it you can do as an alternative. And the best thing that you can do as an alternative is to try to work with the restaurant, make an agreement, either forbearance of the bills or hold it over for a period of time, with the hope that once the this restaurant reopens, and it will reopen. I mean, this thing is not going to last forever, but once it does, there's going to be more opportunities for your business. There's going to be more sales that you're going to be involved in because of the way you conducted yourself while these tough times were going on. Because people don't forget things when the times are tough. It seems that way, but they don't. And everything that you do now to work out things with your customers, to work out things with your landlord, they're going to be reflected in the future. But the last thing, while it's always an option, the last thing that you can do is you can always file a lawsuit.
Eric, I just got asked this question right by my email right here. Someone says to me, "Hey, Lance, I owe money to vendors, and my landlord, I obviously can't pay for the next 2 months. My business is shut down totally. What would you do now? Would you reach out to these people and let them know by email, call them, or would you hire an attorney?" There were the 3 questions he asked. I'm going to respond to them. Obviously, it's one of my clients. Eric, what would you? We have a technical difficulty there. Eric, did you hear the question or no?
I heard the question.
What would you? How would you respond to that?
So the way I would respond to that is I would say you have to be proactive. If you know that you're facing this, reach out to the bank. Just last night, the FDIC, which is the government organization that oversees banks, they effectively came out with a bulletin where they said, to the extent they encouraged banks to engage in workouts with their customers. And they specifically said that if you're going to do this and you're doing these workouts or modifications because of the coronavirus, we're not going to consider them to be bad assets. In other words, we're not going to penalize you because you have them. So to the extent that that's happening, if you know that you have bills in the pipeline that you will have difficulty paying, don't wait until the last second. Don't wait until it's too late. Reach out now, reach out early, let people know what's going on, because at the end of the day, more than likely, the person you're reaching out to, they're in the same boat as you are. There's no difference. There's really no difference.
I agree. Lawrence, here's a question for you. And I think this is a one for attorneys out there, other people, because, this show is about moving your business forward. We know we got to grow through these times. We got to push forward, right? Whether it be through marketing, wherever it may be. What are you doing, Lawrence, as a law firm? You're, I don't use the word small law firm, but I think you have 2 or 3, 4 partners there, correct?
Yeah, no, we are a small law firm. We have no problem saying that. That's exactly what we are. We're a small business, just like, 1/3 of just like 100 million other people in this country.
What do you do to move forward to stay in front of your customers?
We're going through social media, obviously letting them know. We're doing email, and we're communicating with our clients. In fact, more than we were before, because courts are closed. We have more time actually to get to clients, to discuss this case with them and give them some reassurance the best we can. That's what we're doing right now, reaching out either by phone or by text as much as we can. So
I know, Eric, what are you doing for a new client because I know every attorney I've ever dealt with, anyone I want to meet with, I've only met, shook their hands. I want to know who I'm dealing with, right? I mean, Lawrence, that's how you became my attorney, right? I mean, so what do you guys do now? What do law firms do now? Because law firms have to move forward, and I don't think people feel that comfortable coming into any open environments right now.
I think that what you do is you have to stand by your word. So in other words, if you have a new client who's reaching out to you that you don't have a relationship with, if you say that you're going to call them today, you call them today. If you can, for whatever reason, can't call them today, then you reach out and tell them, hey, I can't call you today, and here's why, but I will reach out to you. So being punctual, telling them exactly what you're going to do and doing it is the number one reason right now that you will be able to retain clients, because that's the only way that you can prove to these people that you're responsible and that you care about their issues.
Lawrence, are you using any type of technology to communicate with people, doing anything like that?
Yeah, we're using Zoom to have meetings throughout the office. All of our employees are working from home now. At this point, we've been doing it since last week. We have a cloud-based management, case management software. So we're doing we're trying to keep it business as usual as much as we can, continuing to work on all of our clients' files. But you hit the nail on the head. The hardest part now is the new clients coming in, because we don't have that personal relationship. But everybody understands. The few calls that I've gotten today, And I explained, no, the office is physically closed, but we're open. We can receive email, we receive fax. We can get started working on it right away. We just can't physically meet you, that's our new world.
So I don't want to talk politics. You know, I don't talk politics. You guys know I just don't believe in that. I think that's not for a place in a public place. I always say only my friends and my family know where I stand. They don't like me anyway, so it doesn't matter, right? So on a serious note, though, the climate's changing so much for small and mid-sized businesses right now today. When do you see this ending, and how do you see it ending? You know, people are scared, and you guys have been through a lot. I've seen you, Eric. I got to know you. I've seen you be a bulldog at times. I see you be a shark at times. I see you be one of the most compassionate men I've ever seen. You know, Lawrence, we've been good friends now for years. You've been my attorney for years. Where do you guys see this ending? And I don't want to bring the political piece into it, please. How do you see this ending and when? Because that's a big question I'm getting, and people want to know.
Let me say this. The one way that this thing is going to end, and I don't know, nobody has the magic wand. I don't know exactly when it's going to end. But one thing I will tell you is it's going to end sooner if we all work together, as opposed to if we're fighting over these crumbs and pieces on the table that are left out. The sooner that people are going to start working together, the landlords, the tenants, the utility companies, the banks, the mortgage companies, to try to figure out a way out of it, the quicker this thing is going to end. And that's the magic formula. That's what it comes down to.
Lawrence, you want to add anything to that, please?
Yeah, I was going to say that we're completely shifting our model to problem solving rather than going into attack mode. We want to sit down because everybody needs to compromise and be reasonable. That's the way we get out of this. And whoever can adapt to that, those are the ones that are going to survive. Whoever wants to stay in the old ways, they're not going to make it.
Now, here's a question, because you guys are both good businessmen, and I think people have to hear advice from businessmen. I watched a pretty interesting video, and this is my last question for you. I have one more after that, actually. But the SBA is going to be lending out emergency funds. I don't think that's been approved yet. I don't think the whole thing's done yet. But what advice would you give to people about taking loans out to keep their businesses up and going right now when they're going to be going backwards? I mean, what advice would you give about these SBA loans? Because those SBA loans are significantly wrap you around the neck and collateralize you drastically. Most people don't know that.
Right. Well, I mean, you have to be aware of all the terms, because right now in this, we don't know what the future holds for us. So as a small business, you have to be careful on what you take on. And I get it. I'm a small business. I understand. Everybody's worried today. I got flooded with calls this week about how am I going to make payroll? Where am I heading? Unfortunately, I can't give those answers yet because it's too soon. But everybody does need to be careful when they're taking these loans out, because you don't want to risk your financial future. It all depends on what the terms of those loans are.
Do you guys get involved in that? Because I know one thing for sure. People are going to be running, and I say this all the time, bankers will give you an umbrella on the sunniest day, but in a monsoon, they won't give you a rain cane. And I'll say this, they're animals. They're savages. I'll flat out, any banker that's ever been in my office, you're a savage. You're my best friend when you want my deposits, my accounts. But the moment the tide changes a little bit, you got a gun to my head. So I don't think people understand how much power the banks have in these hidden agreements when you borrow money against them.
So to use your analogy, what I will tell you is, when you have a banker who has a gun to your head right now, as it stands, that the chamber of the gun is at least half empty. And with every passing day, it's becoming emptier and emptier. The one thing you need to remember is
Eric, can you explain that? Because I think the viewers would really want to know that.
Okay. So for one thing is, especially in the areas most affected by the coronavirus, the courts have effectively been closed. Philadelphia, the courts are closed. You can certainly keep filing things, but nothing else is going to happen. We're not even sure if the new filings are being accepted. Federal courts, yes, they're continuing to operate on a limited basis, but the state courts, the Court of Companies of Philadelphia County, Bucks County, Montgomery County, those areas that are being hit harder than most, the courts are closed. So without being able to go to court, the ability of a banker to do anything legally to you as a borrower is limited. Those are the bullets that they have in the chamber, and those bullets have been taken out. The one thing that bankers are also good at, other than holding the gun, is they're really good at doing workouts. And what my understanding is that a lot of these banks, they're shifting their in-house departments that would do loan underwriting, in other words, those that would give out loans, they're shifting them and transforming parts of those departments to do what are called workouts, which means taking loans that are not being paid on time and working out an agreement with the borrowers to figure out a way to get that loan back to normal payments, to get back out of default. So those things are happening. With respect to the loans, SBA is just one agency that gives out these loans. That's a federal agency that gives out specific loans for businesses that need money. But there are others. There is a parallel state agency in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania that is also giving out loans. Their process for getting loans is a lot easier. I mean, they still are going to have a lot of hooks in you because these are government loans. But my understanding is, especially the Pennsylvania agencies that are giving out those loans are interest free, and at the very least, they will give a small business some breathing room to figure out what's going on, whether it's to pay the payroll or to just get them over this initial period of time when everything seems to be kind of crashing down on them.
Lawrence, do you want to add anything at all for the viewers?
Yeah, I just want to let everybody know that we're going to be doing free consults to small businesses right now during this time. As more information comes out, they can reach out to us, and we're going to try and help them as best we can moving forward.
Explain that. You're going to do a free, so that's just threw me off guard. So the viewers are going to know that. So
yeah,
2 final questions. Can you please explain what you mean by a free consult? What that means?
Either,
I never heard a lawyer say that.
Right now, it's not going to be.
So.
Right now, it's not going to be in person, but initial consultation based on what's going on. They can reach out to us by phone or email or text. Or some sort of other format, and we will do an initial consult for free to all small businesses.
You know what I love about you guys, and I've always said this, you guys are, I feel like lawyers are champions of the people when it comes to business. How would people get a hold of you, Eric and Lawrence? One of you could answer it. How would they get a hold of you? If I wanted to reach out to you, how would I contact you?
I think the only thing that's different now about reaching out and contacting us is that they can't walk into our office and have a conversation with us. Everything else works.
Where do they find you at? What's your website address, your phone number, your cell phone, whatever you want to give the people listening to this so they could actually contact you?
The phone number is 215-364-5030. It's being answered all the time. Our normal business hours from 8 until 6. Phones are being picked up. You're being transferred to the people who are answering calls. That's number one. Number two, our website, obviously, kalraylaw.com. You go on there, you see our emails, and just shoot an email. I've been telling my clients for years this. The easiest way to get a hold of me is by email. Shoot me an email, because even if I can't pick up a phone and talk to you, I can look at my phone and answer the email. My email is Rayz at kalraylaw.com. Lawrence's is Kalikhman at kalraylaw.com. We will answer emails. We do answer emails. I mean, our work hasn't stopped. One thing, just last night, I got an email to review an agreement for a rental company from another attorney in Colorado that I work with a lot. So work hasn't stopped. Businesses haven't stopped working. It's just a matter of waiting it out. This thing is going to end, and when it does, there's going to be plenty of opportunity for everyone.
Well, I want to thank you both for coming on today. I know I got a lot of information out of it. I hope the viewers get a lot of information out of it. And I really appreciate it. And thank you so much. And I will talk to you both soon.
Thanks, Lance.
Thanks, Lance.
Hey guys, a couple things I wanted to add here that we didn't discuss. 2 things. Settlement leverage. Because of the economic times that are going on right now, I feel like people are going to take advantage of settling for lower numbers, and insurance companies are going to take advantage of that by giving lowball offers, which unfortunately, because people are in that position, they're going to have to take. Second thing, I also anticipate a spike in bankruptcies, both individual and corporate. So those are just a couple of points that we didn't discuss that I wanted to add. Again, if you need any help, feel free to give us a call. Thank you.